Hello and welcome to the Change Gang podcast with me, your host, Laura Ordile. I'm here to help you hold on to your sanity and your soul as you move through big change. I'm here to guide you from frustration to flow in your life, bridging the practical and the woo, just for you. Let's go. Welcome to the week, Change Gang. I hope it's been a good one for you, and I'm looking forward to the one ahead. As many of you know, in the U.S., tomorrow is our Independence Day celebration. And yes, it absolutely makes me think of the movie with the aliens, but obviously that's not where it comes from right now. Right now, it is about becoming independent, becoming the United States, basically, and breaking away from what was expected and what was tradition and how it had always been. I want to talk about that a little bit in our lives today, talking about the freedom to change, because when we talk about our Independence Day here, it's all about the freedom and the sacrifices and the things that have come before that and everything that was set up to take place. And is everything perfect? No, but we have the freedom to change. And that's the incredible part of what I want to share today. Because just like the people who came over and decided to change the way their life went, whether they did it right or maybe not quite, they needed a change in their life. And so they took action. They did something that so many won't do. They won't step out and make the change. It's safer to stay where they are. It feels better to them to just be okay in the place that they're at. And I get it. There are a lot of people in the world that make that choice. I actually heard someone, I think it was my friend's daughter was in school at one point, and they had them make a choice if they were studying some of the slavery and things like that, and they had to make a choice about if they had the opportunity, would they leave knowing that there was possible danger ahead, they didn't know what to expect, they didn't know what was going to happen, or would they stay and be in the difficult situation that they knew about, whatever that was, for that particular situation. And for slavery, it's not a fun thing, obviously. It's very difficult in many different levels. But it was interesting to see how many people would stay because of the unknown that was ahead. I thought that was fascinating because I instantly said, I would go for it. I would leave. I didn't understand for a moment why some people would stay. I understand now because I understand a lot more about how the mind works and how the subconscious works, and that it's always working to keep us safe and happy and all of that in the best way possible. And the safety is one of the first things that comes into play. So people saying that they wouldn't take that risk because they were safe enough and they didn't know, that unknown factor for the subconscious is incredibly challenging. That's why when you're trying to make changes and it doesn't know what's ahead in the things that you want to do, it can sometimes be difficult because it's kicking and screaming and fighting back to say, no, that's not safe. That's the unknown. So it just made me think about all of the things how interesting we are as humans and the changes that take place, and how interesting it is to see the difference in the choices that people make for the reasons that they make them. But I'm here to tell you today that you, my friend, have the freedom to change in your life. You do. One of the things that you can do is to start at that subconscious level. You can start it on your own. You can start it with all kinds of different ways and things to do, and I offer a lot of those different ways. Some, yes, you pay me for. Some I have for free. A good way to go to get started, even if it's in small ways. If you can't afford to work with someone right now, tap into those small ways. Tap into the things that are out there that are more generalized but can still help you. And I want to tell you that often some of the biggest areas of change, as in anything in life, are some of the things like relationships, career, money, and yourself in how you interact with the world around you. So in relationship, one of the first things, and people go automatically to, when they think about that, their possible romantic relationship or that type of a situation. But we are humans and we are in relationship in every part of our life. You have a relationship at home. You have, whether anybody's there with you or not, you might just have a relationship with your home, with yourself, with your animals or your plants or your furniture. I don't know. But you have relationships. You have relationships at work. Again, whether you're sitting in an office with someone or online. And these days, so many people have online relationships. I have friends online that I have not met, but they've been my friend for years now. I've gotten on the phone with them or even just had a conversation online with them, but they're my friends. I enjoy my interactions with them. And those relationships are important to me. And so it's interesting, all of the relationships that we have in the world. We have relationships with strangers. That's a relationship. In our relationship, they are a stranger to us. That's the relationship. We have a relationship with absolutely everyone that's out there in the world. How you choose to interact in that relationship is up to you. And what you want to change in those relationships is up to you. And that's where we often get mixed up. And I've been there in my own life where I want somebody else to change in the relationship. And so I think that they need to do all the change. You need to do this. You need to do this. Well, what really needs to happen likely is both sides need to change. I need to change whether I'm willing to be in that relationship or not, what's acceptable to me or not, what I can let go of, what I'm going to be mad at, what I have to change my interaction with that other person to the point that it's acceptable in my life. And sometimes that means the change is that they're no longer there. And yes, that can be a hard decision. Absolutely. Sometimes it's an easy one, right? You've had those people that it's like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to deal with that anymore. But oftentimes we think that it's something just the outside world has to happen to change a relationship, or the other person has to change the relationship. And that's absolutely not true. It's you, my friend. You are the one that takes the initiative, that steps up, that changes things so that you can find the happiness, the success, the life that you want to live. Same thing in your career. People will say, well, I have to stay here because I need to make money and there's not anything else out there for me. Okay, I get that. Been there, done that. Yet, you can go to work miserable, upset, go to work crying, which I did for a while. I cried for, I swear to God, I think it was a month. I cried every day as I got in the car to go to work. Or you can shift that around and find something, anything to grasp onto during the day when you're doing that work that is something that will make you smile, that will bring something good to you until you can move into another situation. And then you work towards that other situation in whatever small way you can. You don't sit there and go, well, I'll just wait for something to happen. And hey, I did that too. Until I got to the point where I had to say, I need to make a choice. I need to do something. If I want something different, I'm the one that has to make the first move. And here we go. And yeah, sometimes that's like jumping off a cliff. Scary as crap. And yet, kind of exciting and fun. So do that. Find something that you can grasp onto and at the same time start heading in another direction. It's like being out in the ocean and you grasp onto the life jacket or the floaty thing that's there for you to save your life for now. But you don't just sit there and wait. You paddle. You go in a direction. If you see land, at least you go and you paddle until you can get where you need to be. And then there's that interesting relationship that often needs to be changed with money. And I think our relationship with money is always changing, as it is with our career, as it is in our relationships in general. But with money, that one is so loaded. So loaded. It's crazy. Money is such a sensitive subject for people. They get upset, they get excited. It's like the most extreme sides of the emotional realm come when you bring in money. And that's a generational thing that's come over the years from way back, way back. There were people that had the money and people who wanted the money. And that's still basically what it is. I think if you go back to caveman days, there were probably people who had the furs and the weapons, and there were people who wanted them. And so that's developed over the years, and money is that exchange right now. And some people will say, I don't care about money. And I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that. I think everybody cares in some way about money because it's survival for us. Even if you live out without having to pay for much, you still have to pay for something along the way, I'm guessing. Maybe the people who live in the back country, in the bush country, out on their own, and they develop everything, they still trade. So that's their money. They trade for things, and that's their currency. But the thing is, I'm going to say in our everyday life, in the normal function of even rural and urban areas outside of the extremes, money is an important part of it. And we get so much that is stacked into us from the time we're tiny, probably even in the womb. We're hearing about money. You hear your parents talk about money. You hear the TV talk about money. You hear the radio talk about money. You hear people around talk about money. And oftentimes it's disgruntled conversation. There might be some exciting stuff in there, and thank goodness if you're one of those people who have grown up and been around a place where money was a fun thing and you got to really enjoy it and be a part of it. But oftentimes there's people who heard, we don't have enough. How come you're spending so much? Money doesn't grow on trees. You hear all of the kind of negative things. Or you need to save your money. You need to be careful with money. You need to really respect money. And you do need to respect money. But you also need to have fun with it. And so money is like this hot thing that almost like the hot potato where you're ooh, do I hold on to it? Do I toss it? What do I do with it? And so then people panic because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with it. That's why they say so often that the people who win the lottery often end up spending it all, or doing, because they get scared about it at some point. They get excited. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it. They don't have that relationship foundation with money. And so you can change your relationship with money at that subconscious level. You can go in, clear the blocks, reset the beliefs, hit that little reset button that says, we're going to do this different. We're going to do this different. And you go in and you do it differently from that point on, from that point forward. And you will see the changes that happen. I've been doing this with myself, and it's fascinating to see. And, people talk about that being at an energetic level. And I think that's true to a point. But that energetic level comes from how you are interacting in the world, your vibe, your energy that you're putting out. And your energy and the way that you think about things comes from that subconscious mind, that energetic level where you're connecting with the universe and what you've established as your own belief. I think I might have ran on a little bit about that one, but I want you to know because it's so important. And it's the one thing that I know a lot of people really want to change in their life is their relationship with money and how that shows up in their life. Know that it can absolutely be changed, and you have the freedom to change it. And then last, you have the freedom to absolutely change the things inside you, those beliefs in general, and those things that you're doing in the world right now that you want to change, how you're interacting as yourself in the world, whether you want to clear yourself of the anxiety, the frustration, being stuck, around the habits that you have in your life, or the motivation that you have, or the lack thereof. You can change all of that, and you can literally change. You have the freedom of choice to change how you are in this world. Meaning, I can be okay and not frantic and not upset and not angry and not worried and not all of those things. I can be at a level of okay and even better, regardless of the stuff going on outside of. And some people would say, oh yeah, they do the meditation and they're zen and they're in that space. And yes, there's a lot of people that do that. There's also the place that you can get to there from an understanding that that's your natural state of being. Doesn't take a lot of effort to get to that. It takes a little bit of clearing. And so that's the difference in sometimes what people think, oh, I've got to try so hard. I've got to try to meditate. I've got to try to get into that place of feeling good and comfortable. And the thing is, it's actually just kind of clearing away the rest, undoing the stuff that's there, and dropping naturally into that place. And that's an important part that I have figured out over the years, and something I'd like to hopefully share with you along your. So I just wanted to talk about all those things that you have the freedom to change and do and act in, and to say, of course, thank you to all of the military and their family out there who have spent their lives and their energy to allow us those freedoms, to allow us freedom that we take each day and carry each day in our lives. So thank you. Thank you for that. And there we go, Change Gang. Off into another wonderful week, and I would love to spend some time with you. If you are absolutely interested in doing some work with me, I have a free option for you to jump in and have a call with me, and I would love to do that with you. Just send me a message and say, yes, please, and we'll do the call. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can reply to me here in the comments. Absolutely anything. I would be happy to chat with you. And I hope, my friends, that you have a great, great week. I will see you right here, same time, next week. Ciao. I hope today's episode was interesting to you in some way and fun. If so, hey, find someone to share it with. Maybe they need to hear it too, or maybe they'll just enjoy it. If you'd like, go ahead and grab my tips on supercharging your success. It includes a free short meditation to do just that. You can find that at bit.ly/supercharge your success. Until next time, happy day.